guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for our new series of 6 days making stuffers or fillers for junk journals. Sorry, can't even speak this morning, so that's not very good, is it? So we're going to kick off the series by just making some very simple journal cards. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just literally be folding the paper over to make them. So I have bought book pages, and I've got two different types, so hopefully we're going to have a couple of different looks. I've also bought some sheet music, and then I've also bought some patterned papers to show that basically this method would work for all of these papers. And then we're going to obviously top them, you know, with something. So yeah, we're just going to get cracking straight away. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do a bit of a mass make sort of method, really, because I'm hoping that during these 6 days of the series, and you know, hopefully I did say this in the trailer, you know, I want to get really ahead, ready for the new year, making loads of things to be able to stuff my pockets. Because I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to making a junk journal, you know, I often sort of feel like I'm finished, or feel like I should be finished anyway. And then when I go back through, it's like, oh my goodness, I have got so many pockets to fill now. And, you know, that can be very disheartening. So I think let's get ahead of the game this, you know, between Christmas and New Year, and make a lot of things that we are then going to use as, you know, pocket stuffers. So I'm going to try and be mindful, because the other thing that I often end up doing is I really like kind of using quite big items. And I often make things that then I'm like, oh, everything's too big to fit in a pocket. So I'm going to try and be mindful of that and make some of these things, you know, potentially a little bit smaller, so that hopefully I have definitely got things to fit into the pockets. So for instance, this book page, I maybe even will cut that in half, you know, or certainly, you know, chop it down slightly. So I mean, this is quite a good scrap buster. We're going to obviously be using up quite a fair bit of, you know, book pages and of scraps. And, you know, generally kind of like maybe if you've got offcuts of paper or anything used, you know, from, say, digi-kits or anything, this would be a fantastic one to use some of those up. You could probably use scrapbook paper. Well, you definitely could use scrapbook paper. So, you know, it's going to be a kind of foolproof, quick and easy method to, you know, get some things made. Now, thinking probably take this in half like that. And, you know, I'm just literally folding these in half. These are printed on, I think it's 110 GSM sort of presentation paper. I mean, it's definitely not a thick paper, but it's not as thin as copy paper. So it tends to be my sort of go-to paper, really. Okay, so I've folded all my papers in, and then all we're going to do is kind of glue them together. Now, I'm wondering whether I might need to actually cut them down into sizes first, because if I try and like glue the whole thing, which was my initial thoughts, then all that's going to actually happen is then when I come to use them, you know, they're not going to be glued down on the edges, are they? So I'm going to just cut them down and then glue them, so as to make sure that my edges are properly stuck down. I might do a variety of sizes, so perhaps we'll do this one slightly bigger, so as we've got, you know, some big, some small, because of course, you know, you're going to have different size pockets, aren't you? You're not going to have all the same size pockets. So although I did just say that, you know, I'm very bad for making things and then finding, oh gosh, they're all too big to go in the pockets. Of course, there are times when you do need, you know, things that are bigger. So again, just going to just chop that down slightly. Obviously, I can trim these up, you know, once I'm kind of more done. So I'm just taking these, just cut these together just to save a bit of time. So we're being like very quick and efficient. Well, hopefully being quick and efficient here, like that. And then again, might just make a couple of bigger ones here with this end of the paper. Okay, get rid of those scraps. Right, then got my book pages. So again, what I might do, if I take those ones first, is I might do a couple of small ones. So just literally cut them in half. And then I might do a couple of bigger ones. Now, actually, I might do them quite big because, can you see that paper? I don't know whether it would show on the camera. It's actually that gilded edged paper, which I love that. And that's quite unusual, isn't it? You don't often get that. And yeah, so it's nice to, you know, to keep the gilding showing if possible. The sheet music, I'm going to just do them all kind of half size because actually it's quite big. These ones, I'm just going to do, I think, a couple of small ones and then a couple of big ones. Yeah. Okay. So that's all we've done there. And then all we're going to do is we're going to just glue our pieces together. Now I'm going to use my Anita's tacky glue for gluing my pieces together. So you're going to need your glue spreader for this. And this is where I find that mine's gone astray. Oh dear. Let me stop the camera and make sure I've got it. Hold on. Well, it's not the best one, but it will do. So I'm just going to glue all of my, you know, journal cards to be together. So just a little bit of glue around the edges, a bit of glue in the middle, and then just over they go. Oops. Like that. Okie dokie. I have got some glue there dabbed into the you know, the journal card, but I'm not going to worry too much. Oh, I've already dabbed my nail varnish off, so oh dear, it's going to be one of those kinds of videos, obviously. Right. Okay. So I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas and you all ate far too much and, you know, yeah, had a really good time with your you know, your friends and family perhaps, or, you know, maybe you had a quiet one and, you know, did some crafting and things. But yeah, I hope maybe you kind of indulged in some of your favourite foods, or, you know, maybe you put sort of, I don't know, a box set or something on the telly, watched some of your old favourites, or maybe you watched some of the, you know, the entertainment they've put on the TV. Obviously, I'm filming this ahead, you know, ready to go up for you guys. So I don't really know what the Christmas schedule is like. I mean, when we were kids, they used to put, you know, all the festive films on, didn't they? Well, not even festive films, but all the, you know, the popular movies kind of thing from maybe like 2 years previously at the cinema. They would put those on over Christmas. It's got to be said, I don't think they really do that so much now, because obviously they've got the likes of Netflix and, you know, all those pay channels, who presumably they are the people who've got the, you know, the bulk of the deals anyway. And yeah, I guess a lot of the, you know, the mainstream TV channels, they've probably lost their viewers anyway to those channels. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't really feel like I've seen kind of like blockbustery films coming on over the Christmas period. Maybe that's just me, but I mean, it's got to be said, I think Christmas has kind of changed a bit. I don't think, yeah, I don't think we really particularly sit down watching TV. I mean, years ago, there were lots of soaps on TV. I mean, the soaps are still running, but I don't know whether they're as popular as they were. Certainly, you know, I don't watch the soaps really, and I don't really know that many people who do watch the soaps. But yeah, they used to have like big, you know, cliffhanger storylines going for the festive period. Again, I don't know whether they do or whether just because I don't watch them, you know, maybe they do still have that, but I'm just not aware of them. But I mean, there was a time when literally, you know, everyone in the country was kind of tuning in. I mean, we have this film here called EastEnders, and yeah, I mean, back in the day, I was a child at this point, but there was a couple, Den and Angie. So anyone in the UK, you will know exactly who I'm talking about, I'm sure. They ran the pub and he served Angie with divorce papers, I think it was, on Christmas Day. I mean, how unfestive is that? You know, talk about a miserable programme to be watching. But everybody in the country pretty much watched that episode. And, you know, it really, yeah, you know, got massive, massive, massive views. Now, I don't know whether, you know, whether soaps and things attract that kind of following anymore. I mean, a bit like, again, you know, I was a teenager at the time, but Neighbours. So again, I don't know whether Neighbours kind of airs like everywhere in the world, or whether it's mainly a UK and Australia. I don't know. Does Neighbours air in the States, or I don't even know if it airs at all anymore, actually. I think there was a big thing about it was going to finish, so I don't know whether it is still even, you know, running. But yeah, back in the day, so we would have been talking, oh, I don't know, 88 to, I don't know, maybe like 1990, something like that. Anyway, it was so popular. And again, they had Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan, because that's where they found their fame. They got married, and oh my goodness, again, every single person tuned into that. And I mean, I think Neighbours used to be on at like 1:30 and 5:30 or something like that. Like I say, I mean, I was at school, so of course I used to watch the 5:30 one. But oh my goodness, like everyone at school was talking about watching the wedding, and oh, it was like, yeah, one of those TV moments in history. So I don't know whether, you know, I don't feel like TV gathers momentum like that these days. I guess because everyone's watching all different channels, we're not all watching the same things, are we? Like we were, you know, in those days. So, you know, that would kind of account for, you know, why, you know, it doesn't seem to have the same following or the same impact or the same, you know, I don't know, like generation of interest, you know, because obviously if you're all watching different channels, you're only going to gather, you know, X amount of viewers. Whereas, you know, when we were children and there were only 4 channels, again, that's here in the UK, I don't know about other countries, but, you know, then there was much less to watch. So most people were watching kind of the same things, really. But yeah, that Neighbours, oh my goodness, that was, yeah, just like one of those famous kind of TV and history moments. And I'm trying to think, Charlene and, oh, Scott. That was Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan. They were Charlene and Scott in Neighbours. And yeah, so exciting. You know, it was just, oh, lovely episode. And it had that that famous song, which again, you know, became famous off the back of that episode. Trying to think what the song was. I can't think, and definitely I would not attempt to sing it, but you know, live here, well, I'm not live, but you know, filming anyway, I definitely do not think anybody wants to hear my singing voice. Yeah, let me know below, do you know the song that I mean? What was that song called? Oh, I can't think. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure that loads of you are kind of like singing along and, you know, can picture that wedding. And yeah, you know the song that I mean, don't you? Anyway, TV moments of, you know, TV moments in history. So trying to think of other TV moments in history. So another one, and again, you know, this is not really anything to do with Christmas, but we used to have a programme here, Only Fools and Horses. Don't know whether that's, you know, aired around the world or whether that just really stayed in the UK. Very, very, very funny. David, Jason and, oh gosh, Nicholas Lyndhurst. They were the Del Boy and Rodney. That was the 2 main characters. They were brothers, and oh, it was just some, you know, classic TV moments. But one that really, you know, stands out in my mind, really, obviously, of, you know, TV moments that everybody recognised and, you know, everybody would kind of laugh or, you know, remember those episodes. In fact, there was 2 probably in that really spring to mind. So there was one where I think I can't remember whether they were hanging a taking down a chandelier. So it's the 2 brothers, you know, Del Boy and Rodney, they're taking down a chandelier in, I don't know, like it looked like a stately home. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, very big posh sort of, you know, manor house. And it had these two enormous chandeliers, like at the bottom of the stairs, if I recall. And they've taken their granddad along. Granddad? Uncle, I think. And he's helping them. So I think they've got, like, you know, the, well, blanket or, you know, whatever it was underneath to catch this huge, enormous chandelier when it comes down from, you know, from the ceiling. So they're both stood at the bottom holding the thing to catch the chandelier in. And the uncle, I think it was, he's kind of like, you know, in the ceiling kind of thing of the floor above, like, you know, to hammer the chandelier out. I mean, I'm sure there's probably more technical terms to this, but anyway, basically to, you know, to release the chandelier so as it drops into the blanket thing that they're holding. And there's two of them, you know, two chandeliers. So, I mean, they're enormous, like probably, I don't know, 6 feet wide or something like that, you know. So really, really ornate, very expensive, you know, chandeliers. And yet, you guessed it, if you have not watched that episode, of course what happens is they are stood under one chandelier and the uncle, he hammers it out the wrong chandelier. So they're stood there holding the blanket, waiting for it to drop down. And what happens? The wrong chandelier comes down and just comes smashing onto the floor. So, yeah, that's one of those TV moments. And then the other one, also in that same programme, you know, Only Fools and Horses, is, and everybody will know this one. So, Del Boy, he's one, you know, one of the brothers. Sorry, I'm just kind of noticing little splashes of glue when I put that up and the light catches. He is in a pub and he stood at the bar. And, you know, he's a sort of Jack the Lad, well, wannabe Jack the Lad, really. He's, you know, he's trying hard to be a Jack the Lad, but often sort of fails miserably. And he stood at the bar and he's resting his elbow on the bar, you know, propping himself up. And the barmaid comes through and, well, I don't know whether that's a politically correct term, so apologies, I don't want to offend anybody, but back in the day she would have been called a barmaid. And she comes through and she opens the, you know, those hatch things that sort of divide the bar from the, you know, the public side and the staff side. And he had kind of like, I don't know whether he was chatting with someone. Yeah, I think he was chatting with someone. So he wasn't leaning on the bar, you know, at that point. She walks through and then he goes and puts his elbow back onto the bar to like lean onto it again. And yeah, you guessed it. The serving, not the serving hatch, the, you know, the hatch thing had gone. And so he just literally falls straight through onto the floor. So it's such a funny scene. Now, if you haven't seen that, and, you know, like I say, probably everybody in the UK has seen it. I don't know whether that programme has been seen everywhere in the world or not. But if you haven't seen that scene, just YouTube, Only Fools and Horses, Del Boy or Del falling through the bar. And yeah, you will, you know, that will come up on YouTube, I'm sure, because it's a very famous scene, but very, very, very funny. Yeah, just one of those classic things, and classic, but could so happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not one of those things where it's like, oh gosh, as if that would happen. No, it's one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, I could so see how that could happen, you know. And I guess that's why it's gone down in history, because it's just that type of thing that would, you know, potentially happen, probably has happened to tons of people. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, things like that, they happen to me, to be honest. I'm very clumsy, very kind of like, oh, haphazard sort of person. So, yeah. If I was leaning on a bar, that's just the type of thing that would end up happening to me. Best I steer clear from all that kind of stuff. Yeah, very, very funny. So yeah, aside from that, I can't really think of any, you know, like I say, any TV programs in this day and age, really, which are, you know, famous or, you know, are going to pull in the viewers like that. I mean, last year we had Gavin and Stacey. They did a Christmas special, something like 15 years after the original series or something, you know, a huge long time afterwards. That pulled in a lot of viewers, I'm sure, because that had a very, you know, huge following. Yeah, I did watch it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And I heard a rumour that there was going to be another Christmas special this year. I don't know. And like I say, I'm filming this before Christmas. So, you know, I don't know whether there has been a Christmas special. Perhaps by now it's been on and you'll all wonder why I'm even saying, is there going to be one? Or was that just a rumour? I don't know. I haven't actually heard confirmed, you know, yes, there's going to be one. But, oh my goodness, I would love it. Absolutely love it if there was one. So, yeah. But aside from that, I can't really think. I mean, it's got to be said, probably the most exciting thing I've ever watched on TV, and I might have talked about this before, so I do apologise, but definitely not in recent times, was that series with Kiefer Sutherland, 24. So... Again, if anyone's not watched that, oh my goodness, watch it. It's so good. Oh, now I wasn't really a Kiefer Sutherland fan. You know, I always thought, oh gosh, what's all the fuss about? You know, why do people like him? You know, because he just wasn't my personal cup of tea, really. You know, looks-wise, I suppose. But, oh my goodness, after watching that, I did like him. But wow, what an exciting series. So I think there's 8 seasons, and of course they weren't all, you know, they weren't all brilliant. So I'm talking season 1, really. Right, okay, I'm just going to, you know, bring these in. So what we've got here are a bunch of journal cards. Now, all we've done so far is obviously double them over so that we've got, you know, basic journal cards. So then what I've brought along is a bunch of pieces that I had laying around. So I've got here some of my vintage topper pieces. So I'm going to just even cut these down, I think. Not even round the frames, but just like this to start. We'll see whether, you know, they look okay. If they don't, then of course I'll have to cut them around the frames. But, you know, I had them laying around from something else, and I'd only used a few. So I thought, well, these would be ideal to make very quick journal cards, because obviously we can just pop these on to the pieces like that. Okay, so I'm just going to cut them all down, and then I've also got some photographs and I've got some of my Victorian ephemera. So we'll see, you know, what we need in a moment. So I'll just cut them down, and then we'll layer them up on, you know, what pieces look good on what paper. So yeah, back to, oh, and these are, yeah, these are some more of the vintage toppers. So, and these are all available obviously in my Etsy shop. And these are again just printed on that 110 GSM paper. So, you know, they're thicker than copy paper, but you know, they're not a cardstock, like I said. So we're just going to take those like that. Okie dokie. Yeah, back to 24. So yeah, it was the first season, really, was, oh my goodness, like mind-blowingly exciting. It was so gripping, you know, like every single time that it ended, it was just like, you know, even if it was, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, it was like, oh my goodness, shall we put another one on? Oh, let's just watch the next 10 minutes. Or, you know, yeah, the first 10 minutes of the next episode. And of course, you know, you couldn't just stop at 10 minutes. You'd then have to watch, you know, loads of it. So these are some of my Victorian ephemera, set 6. So I'm just going to take some of these and again, just cut these down and pop these onto some of those. Okay. So yeah, it was just so gripping, and there were so many twists and turns. You know, nobody was safe in that. Like, you know, anyone could be killed off. You know, like normally you're like, oh, well, that's a main character, they're not going to kill them off. No, not in 24. Any character at all was, you know, for the high jump, to be honest. You know, which I guess is what made it quite exciting, because, you know, like most programs are a little bit predictable in that, you know, oh, well, they're not going to get rid of the main character. But that one was so unpredictable. And I think that's what really kind of made it, you know, stand out a bit from other programs. The other thing is with 24 is it was filmed in like real time. So there was, each season had 24 episodes, and each episode, it was actually 45 minutes, so not an hour, but it was minute for minute. So I think, if I recall, the program actually had like a timer on the screen counting down from 60 minutes. And the only thing was twice an episode you'd have like 7 minutes that would kind of like not speed up, but just not happen, if you see what I mean, so that it all was condensed into the, you know, the 50 minutes. But yeah, oh my goodness, that was so good. Right, I've also got some of my vintage photograph printables, so I'm just going to take a couple of those as well. Okay, probably should have printed these smaller. As you can see, this this particular one has been sat around on my desk for ages, and it's a little bit crumpled up now, but you know, that's still fine. It will still work fine. Yeah, so that season 1, you know, season 1 was, oh my goodness, like hands down the best thing I've ever, even to this day, watched on TV. It was so good. Like I said, I mean, they kind of like, not saying deteriorated, but you know, of course it didn't, you know, it didn't keep the momentum quite so much in, you know, following sessions. But yeah, definitely those, you know, I was going to say early seasons, but actually, if I recall, I don't think season 3 was brilliant. But season 1 and season 2, oh, amazing. And funny enough, I was talking to my friend the other day at the gym, and he also said, all time, you know, that season 1 of 24, favourite thing of all time. So, you know, I think it's kind of like most people who watched it absolutely were like blown away by that first season. I mean, if you watched it again these days, I don't know really whether it would be, you know, mind-blowing or exciting. I don't know. I'm sure it would be, because it was very, very, you know, gripping and adrenaline-y. But yeah, I don't know whether it would be as good, obviously, as it was, but it was really, really, really good. Right, okay, so these are my topper pieces that we've cut. So what I want to do now is just cut a few back pieces. So by back pieces, I mean just some plain pieces of paper. Oops. Plain pieces of paper that we're going to back our journal cards on with, because of course at the moment they are, you know, pattern papers or bit page, which of course you couldn't really journal on. So just got here some fly sheet. Just going to take it down like that. Okay, and then we can just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we just want to sort of cut in so as we've got some there to cover up some of the journal cards. So like that. Okay. Oops. Doesn't matter if you tear it, you know, it's all good. So there we go. One for that one. I'll just put them to the side as I do them. Yeah. Yeah, so that was probably, you know, best thing ever on TV. Watched that new Wonka film the other day. So yeah, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, there was a new Wonka kind of about him growing up. And, you know, I have to say, brilliantly done. I don't know whether that was like written by Roald Dahl or whether, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's dead, I think, isn't he, Roald Dahl? And oh my goodness, I hope he is now. Well, I don't hope he is, but oh gosh, I'm really coming out with terrible things today. I just mean, I hope he is from a point of view that otherwise I'm kind of like, you know, killing him off prematurely. But of course I don't hope he is from a, you know, from a point of view of him being dead, if you see what I mean. So these ones I might just take like that. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know who then wrote, you know, wrote Wonka. But oh my goodness, it was very well done. You know, given the fact that it was obviously written, or presumably written by somebody else. You know, they really kept kind of like, yeah, the general theme and the general feel was very Wonka-esque. You know, and I know obviously that, you know, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That whoever's going to do it was going to try and pull it off. But, you know, that doesn't always follow, does it? And particularly if it's being written by somebody completely different. I mean, that would be a pretty tall order, wouldn't it? But yeah, they did pull it off. So it was pretty good. Pretty good. Right, there we go. Wow, we are really being ambitious here, aren't we? Trying to make so many of these. So I've also got this, which again is just another sort of, well, it's not really fly sheet, but you know, similar to fly sheet, I suppose, just in that it's plain. So, you know, it could be journaled on. Obviously this is dark coloured, but I don't mind that, because, you know, if you were journaling on it, you'd just use obviously a, you know, a white pen or something like that. Sometimes I think it's quite nice to have, you know, a bit of different sort of pieces, isn't it? So I was going to keep that on, but should we keep that on? Yeah, so let's just cut that in here. Okay, that one, and where's another book page? Nope. There we go, on that one. And then here, just take that one down. Okay. Like that, and like that. We're flying through, aren't we? Got some more of that dark paper as well. Let me just bring that in. Okay. Right, so this one we'll try and do these smaller pieces. So yeah, I'm thinking like that. Yeah, let's just take that in like that. Okay. And I have to say, I don't, you know, again, I don't know what the weather was like over Christmas, because of course I've filmed this ahead, but so far we're still having really unseasonably warm weather. I mean, not that I'm complaining, obviously, but it's very strange. I don't know, yeah, I don't know why, you know, it's so pleasant at the moment still, but hey, long may it continue. I mean, I've only got like a thin cardigan on today and a thinnish top, you know, long sleeve top with my skirt, which, you know, generally at this time of year I would definitely be wearing jumpers, you know, big thick ones. So yeah, it's like unseasonably warm, which is great. Like I say, long may that continue, because, you know, obviously less heating that we have to be putting on, which is fantastic. Right, let's just see. Don't know why I've done this way round, because it's actually, I've not made very efficient use of this paper. I've done it really strangely. I don't know what was going on in my mind there, but anyway, doesn't matter. So just take that one down there. Right, take that. Okie dokie. I'd best get a bit of a move on. Maybe I have been a bit ambitious thinking we were going to get through all of these. You know, kind of, I just had it in my mind that I thought, oh, I want to get loads done, you know. But yeah, I mean, this was just ridiculous. How many I thought I was going to get done as opposed to, you know, reality, how many I'm actually going to get done. Yeah, a bit over ambitious, actually. I'm going to use it for this one. Anyway, so this will, yeah, perhaps this will be the last one that we'll do, because otherwise I'm never going to actually get, you know, making these, am I? So that would be a pretty boring video, wouldn't it, if then we didn't actually get round to doing the, you know, the finishing them. We've just made the basic sort of pieces. Right, that's a bit big, so just trim that down. Okay, right. Okay, so the other ones, like I said, I will save these and I'll just do them, you know, in slow time off camera. But that being said, you know, I'm still not that disappointed, because to be honest, you know, I have got the pieces now ready to be used for something else, which is, you know, still progress, isn't it? You know, they're going to be quicker to make into something else now I've got the basics done than they would have been starting from scratch. So it's all good progress nonetheless. Right, okay, so let's pull these back in, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to cover the backs. Okay, so just glue that down. So if you can hear the groaning, that's my dog who's just beside my desk, just letting us all know she's here. She's here, she's still bored listening to me waffling on. Okay, right, that one. Okay, okay. So as you can see, we really have used, you know, quite a few sort of like odds and pieces, because we've used, you know, quite a few book pages, we've used quite a few of the sheet music, we've used quite a few, you know, like what would be overspills of maybe some digi kits and things. You know, if you've printed out a whole kit and then you've made a journal, but you've got like say 2 or 3 sheets left, you know, this is quite a good project to, oops, just finish those off, or, you know, use them up. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the overall progress that we've been making. And then of course you've used quite a few, like, you know, fly sheet pieces, which again is, you know, it's a good use of stuff, isn't it? So yeah, I think it's overall been quite useful. And I mean, hopefully by the end of these 6 days, you know, we're going to then pull out everything that we've made during the 6 days, and there's going to be a ton of stuff that we can then use for filling our journals. That's the plan. So fingers crossed that that's going to be the case, because that would feel awesome, wouldn't it? If we then had like really loads of things ready-made, then ready to use, that would feel like a huge win, wouldn't it? Okay. I just can't believe that, you know, we're about to be in 2024 again, because, you know, and I know I say this all the time, but honestly, where has this year gone? It's just like flown by. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, I know life obviously does, well, I mean, obviously life doesn't really speed up, does it, as you get older, but it certainly feels like it does. But this year has been unbelievably crazy. You know, just, yeah, whizzed. Did not feel festive this year at all. Yeah, I don't think I was quite, you know, in the zone really for Christmas. And I don't know whether that was all it was, or whether it just didn't really feel festive for anybody. I don't know, but I really struggled to, you know, get into Christmas at all. And yeah, I don't know what was going on, but anyway, hopefully I'll be a bit better next year. But yeah, just not really felt it this year. I've been struggling, you know, with my mojo, and I've been struggling a bit, you know, with some anxiety and stuff lately. And yeah, I think just Christmas was sort of snuck up on me and just wasn't really, I don't know, just wasn't really in the zone for it, I suppose, this year. I don't know really, but definitely hope that my mojo comes back a bit next year, because it's not very good. It might just be, you know, a bit of an age thing, and obviously, you know, I've had a lot of things going on. I don't know, but it's so annoying, isn't it? I absolutely hate it, you know, when my mojo's like missing. Oh no. So yeah, I thought this series, you know, hopefully it's going to be a double, you know, well, like a double whammy, because hopefully it's going to be not only really great to have like loads of things ready made to stuff pockets, but also, just going to trim this down, also it's hopefully going to kickstart my you know, craftiness and my mojo again, which would be, you know, fantastic, because I feel like it needs a wake up. It needs a sort of like, come on, get in the zone, woman. Needs that going on. So yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be the thing to do it. And, you know, I've talked before about, funnily enough, in my, you know, Missing Crafty Mojo and Inspiration series that I did a while back, I did talk then about, you know, sometimes it's worth having a look through and thinking, you know, what do I love about, say, a certain video or a certain project, you know, that I felt really inspired. And for me, one of those things was, and I did talk about this in the series, but for me, one of those things was just when people had made a lot of things in a video. I felt like, or, you know, I feel like when I watch those videos, it kind of like spurs me on and makes me, oh my goodness, you know, I'd love to have those, you know, that many things ready made to use. So hopefully this one is, you know, going to be quite, you know, inspirational from that point of view, because hopefully by the end of the week, we're going to have a lot of things, you know, in our stash that we didn't have previously. So that's hopefully the plan. Okay, there's just got a bit of text on it from the book, but that's fine. Obviously that's going to be covered up. So yeah, like that. I have to confess, I'm filming this pretty late, you know, pretty close to Christmas. And I have done a little mini series in between Christmas and New Year for the past few years, but I've never filmed it this late. I've normally been, you know, finished filming it, I don't know, a week or two before Christmas. I'm filming this literally, it's the 20th of December now. So yeah, I need to really get a move on now. So again, it's just how the year has gone really, but let's hope I actually get this done, because otherwise I'm going to have this, you know, strange video talking about Christmas and things that's just going to go up at any other time of year, which, you know, would just be a bit peculiar. But still, never mind. Right, okay, so I've got all my pieces back now, which is awesome. I'll just get myself clean wipe, because those have seen better days now that they've had a lot of glue on them. Right, so I'm going to put some of these down now, front ways, like that. Okay, so let's just bring in a few different ones. Oh, I've mainly done the big ones again. See, I just, even when I think, oh, I'm going to do smaller pieces, I just still end up falling down and doing bigger pieces. So I don't know what that's about. Oh, I forgot I've got these as well. Actually, yeah, I've got quite a good selection of things to use, to be honest. So, oh, that's quite nice on there, isn't it? Okay. And this one probably I need a bigger piece, because it's quite a big. There we go. That's quite nice. So what I'm going to do actually is layer them up again like that. And then we can glue them all down, you know, so that we're doing things, you know, assembly line-ish still. I mean, that probably could do with a, yeah, different one. Oh, I've also got these little pieces, which these were out of that book with the dark coloured, what do you call it? You know, the dark coloured stuff. So yeah, perhaps I'll use a couple of those. Right, let's bring in a couple more. Okay. Because again, you know, if I just get them all layered up, then at least, you know, even if I don't get them all done right now, I can always then, you know, very quickly get these assembled and done in slow time. So like that. Okay. There we go. Oh, that's quite nice on there, isn't it? Again, just trim that down a bit. You do get these toppers, you know, with a plain background, and I think there's 2 different backgrounds, if I recall. It's a while since I've used them, but yeah, I thought with the sheet music was quite nice. And to be honest, you know, that was what I had to hand. And like I said, I'm just trying to go with it, using up pieces that I actually had, you know, laying about, rather than, you know, messing about kind of pilling in different pieces. I thought, no, I'm just going to go with what I've actually got to hand, you know, and then it's much more scrap bustery, isn't it, if you're actually using what needs using rather than, you know, pulling in all different things again. So I'll just go with it and just use what, you know, what I've got sort of laying about. And that doesn't really go on there. Let's use that one. Okay, oh, we've got just 2 more left, so wow, we did quite well, didn't we? We flew through those, but I mean, again, that's because I've tried to just go with things and really not, you know, get bogged down with what I'm putting on what. I've just, like, you know, gone with the flow. And, you know, if it doesn't really look like a brilliant match, it's, you know, it's not really the end of the world, because actually, you know, by the time that we've inked it and added some extra bits, it probably will look quite different once it's done anyway. So that's the theory. Let's see whether I'd prefer, oh, maybe I'll have him on there. Yeah, oh, I don't know. Oh, decisions. Right, okay, so let's bring these back in. So we're just going to kind of like put them on like this. Now, I'm even thinking, for speed, just glue these down and then we'll ink the whole thing afterwards. So rather than inking individually, we'll just literally pop them down like that. And then we can just, you know, ink them up all together afterwards. So totally, you know, well, totally assembly lining, really, I suppose, is what we're doing, aren't we? We're not getting at all bogged down with, you know, faffing around kind of thing, like inking up and then gluing. We're just doing it all, you know, not methodically, but, oh, what's the word? Anyway, efficiently. We're doing it all efficiently. So, yeah, have that one up higher a bit, because that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Okie dokie. Oh, I like this one. Very cute. Okay. Like that. Okie dokie. So, yeah, we're flying through these, aren't we? Takes like no time at all to get your pieces just glued on. Like that. Okay. Oops. So, you know, they're really nice usable journal cards, aren't they? Because, you know, we've obviously put the plain paper on the back so that they're nice to journal on. You know, they're very quick, very easy. And using up, you know, quite a few little bits and pieces, aren't they? Can't really see what the time is now. Oh, that's annoying. Right, let's just quickly try and do this. Right. So what I might have to do is I might just have to decorate a couple up with you guys. And then what I might do is if I can, is maybe then decorate some off camera and then come back and show you them. I don't know whether I will have time to do that. So I'll, yeah, we'll see. But that would be quite fun, as, you know, if I could then have time to decorate, you know, a whole bunch of them, and then I could come back. That would be awesome. Oh, I love that one. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, oops. Love this one as well. Doesn't that look lovely? That's my documents background paper from my documents collection of papers. Doesn't it look gorgeous with that vintage topper? Just lovely. You know, lovely and just simplicity. You know, no extra things at all. Just simple, simple, simple. There we go. Okie dokie. Now, I'm going to try not to bulk these out too much when I decorate them, because that's another thing that I'm pretty, you know, pretty terrible for. I mean, I love a chunky journal, and, you know, of course, what goes with that is, you know, I never know when to stop with my decorating and my embellishing. So invariably things end up pretty, you know, pretty big. So I'm going to try and rein it in and not have too many thick things. I mean, of course, this is famous last words, and I probably will end up failing miserably and having like loads of thick things, and yeah, kind of like you'll think, what was she talking about? But the plan at this moment is try not to bulk these out too much. So we shall see if I manage that. Oh, I should have trimmed that one down, shouldn't I? Because it's got a bit much sheet music on that side. But, you know, again, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's really going to notice this once we've, you know, decorated it and things. Okay. Oh, I had another one hiding underneath. Okay. Like that. Oh my goodness, aren't they pretty? Right. Okay, so I can now go through and sort of ink them up. I mean, obviously inking is kind of, you know, personal choice, isn't it? Whether you actually even bother inking or not. You know, you don't have to. I always quite like inking, but, you know, it's not essential. Oops. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to actually ink it down on the desk even. So yeah, these background papers, these, you know, these bright floral ones, they're from my hearts collection. Not hearts collection, but my hearts printable. And then you get, I think it's 3 background pages. I could be wrong, might be more than that, but yeah, a few anyway. Background pages, so that's one of those. Okay. So, and that one, can you see, I've just got a little curly corner. I mean, I actually think that all adds to it. So, you know, again, don't be kind of like afraid if some of your bits aren't quite glued right to the edges or anything and you get curly corners like that. I think it just actually adds to the, you know, the effect really. So, and, you know, it's personal choice whether you actually ink, you know, front and back and things. Didn't ink the back of that one, but just go around there quickly. Okay, and this one. Like that. Okay. Oh, it doesn't really need inking on the back of that, to be honest, because there's hardly any even showing on the back of that, to be fair. Okay. So this was that one that I was not really too sure whether that man really belonged on that paper, but, you know, decided to just go for it anyway. So sometimes you get your best, you know, your best results when you go for something unexpected. Not always, obviously. Sometimes you might think, oh gosh, I should have gone with my gut feeling and thought, no, you know. But sometimes you go with your, not your gut instinct, but the opposite of that, you know, and yeah, you can be really pleasantly surprised with the results. So, okay. There we go. Right, I'm actually sat here thinking, oh gosh, what am I going to decorate these with? So, I mean, I'm just thinking probably, you know, a little bit of maybe labels, a little bit of, you know, I don't know, butterflies, maybe something like that. And then, you know, maybe just a tab of some kind on them. I mean, you know, don't even necessarily need a tab, but, you know, you could pop a tab on. You know, again, you could round the corners if you felt like it. Just so you've got different things going on, really. So, like that. Okay. Right, we're nearly done. So, perhaps I'll just stop the video and ink the rest. Hold on. Right, I'm back. So I finished the inking and I've got some pieces that I have already cut out here. So these would be like die cut pieces. And then I've also got some extra pieces here to the side as well. So a variety of, yeah, bits and pieces that we can just kind of play around with and use. So just having a quick look. Yep. Okay, right. So I'm going to just cut out couple of these bits. So these are my large birdhouse pieces, and you get obviously the large birdhouses, but you also get a few flowers and birds and things on here that, you know, you can obviously then use elsewhere. So that's those. My ink was just beginning to go on that print run, so yeah. Right, let's just take these. So these are my labels set 1, I think it is. Again, you can see my printer sucked it through weirdly, so yeah, not great. And then I've got my bows. So again, my printer's sucked it through, you know, peculiarly, which is, you know, a bit annoying, but, you know, not the end of the world. So just going to take a couple of bows just in case I want any of those. And then I've also got some butterflies, got some pieces from my fun photos, got some frames, and then, oh, yeah, that's the other thing. So I quickly went and dug these out just now whilst I stopped the camera, you know, for inking, because I thought I may need some of these little bits and pieces. So I've got some of my shoes printables as well. So just going to keep these on hand just in case, you know. So yeah, let's just do 1 or 2. Like I say, I'll probably have to do the rest in slow time because there won't be time enough to, you know, be doing all of this. But this from the large birdhouses. So I have got my shoe printable there, obviously in a frame. So I mean, we could incorporate that there. So that's from my shoes. I think they're called shoes set 2. They come with some background papers which are really pretty, and obviously these shoes in the frames. So I can't remember, it might be 6 or 8 pages, quite a few. And then yeah, these from the large birdhouses, and I just thought these might be quite pretty. Now, I know I say this all the time, but don't be daunted when it comes to cutting out flowers, because honestly, you know, my thinking is always, well, nobody really knows what that flower really looked like. So, you know, you really can kind of get away with, you know, all sorts, really. I was going to say making it look like anything, but yeah, technically you could, because nobody really knows what that flower sort of resembled initially, do they? So, like that, maybe just another flower up here or something. I mean, how pretty does that look? So, yeah, let's just finish that off like that. So again, just, oh, please excuse the back of this. Pop this one down here like that. Okay. And then, yeah, nice big flower there to either side. And then just a smaller flower up there. Oh, that's going to go over that little corner that I quite liked being curly, so I'll just put it on this side as well, or instead, sorry. And then what you could do is just have, like, you know, a small bit of lace or something going down this side, because obviously I don't really like doing things without lace at all. So, or, you know, lace slash bling slash something. I feel like, you know, it's not quite me if it's not got all those bits. So, I mean, how gorgeous does that look? And that took seconds to decorate that up, and just take it from being, you know, pretty plain to absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Like that. So just going to put that to one side. So let's do one of these, which are slightly more tricky because they're obviously yeah, slightly more varied in their kind of appearance. So I've got here some of my, oh, what do you call these, you know, file folder tabs. So I mean, I'm thinking straight away that looks pretty on there, doesn't it? So we could have something like that. I've got butterfly here, just again, this is just from the large birdhouses, and I'm just using this because it's here. You know, I'm not necessarily saying this is the right colour, but it's just, it was laying there and I thought, well, let's give it a try. So yeah, let's just try this one. Okay. Okie dokie. So yeah, I mean, that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And again, maybe just a little bit of lace or something, you know, maybe just off down that side or something. And straight away that looks really pretty, doesn't it? So let's just pop that tab down. And these tabs, you know, we had made these previously in a mass making. So again, that's just showing why, you know, having all your things ready made is so brilliant for, you know, saving you time on the day. Because, you know, you can then just obviously not throw things together, but, you know, get things put together very, very quickly instead of having to kind of like faff around making things as you go. You know, which just all really does add to the time that things take. You know, I mean, sometimes it's nice to, you know, to make individual things to go with the piece that you're, you know, making. But sometimes, or, you know, quite often I find it's actually handier to just have things, you know, ready, up and ready. So just again, take one of those flowers. Oops. Yeah, maybe something like that. I mean, that's pretty, isn't it? What do you think over there? Or a bit tucked under the lace? Ooh, decisions. I mean, I quite like it there. Maybe that's not the right butterfly, to be honest. Let me just have a look. So these are the butterflies from my Junk Journal Basics kit. So I'm actually thinking maybe one of these might be better. Junk Journal Basics set 1. Okay. Nearly done. There we go. Oh yeah, the green does look better, doesn't it? You know, just sometimes it's just a case of, you know, finding the right piece, isn't it? And then once you find it, it's almost instant that you think, oh yeah, that's the one. There we go, like that. Isn't that just a gorgeous, gorgeous journal card? Love it. Right, so let's do this one, which, you know, this one probably is, you know, the most tricky, I would say. So again, let's just check out, you know, what we want to put on here. Now, maybe we could have either a book plate or... Yeah, let's just try this. So these are just my coloured book plates. Okie dokie. Oh, and I just spotted something else which might pull in. We shall see. See how it looks in a minute, and then may or may not add the other thing that I just spotted. So, oh, I quite like that. It's just picking up the green from the leaves down on this side, isn't it? But I also spotted these, which are the, you know, the frame portions from like the vintage toppers and the bird toppers. So I've obviously, you know, I've cut out the birds or the, you know, the vintage insides. So I've just got the frame portion left, but I'm thinking, you know, hence I didn't throw it away, because we might be able to use these as little frames. So let's just take that like that. I just have to trim that down because it's just got a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, that's why we keep these things, isn't it? Because, of course, you know, even then, things like this are quite handy. So, like there, we can just put that framed right around that man. Whoa. Oh dear, right. Okay, put that around him. Just makes him stand out a bit more. You know, gives him a different look, which I love. Like that. Oh dear, the frame's coming apart. There we go. And then, yeah, just a bit of lace down the corner, or down the side strip. Like that. I love these thin lace trims. Again, I do have the lace packs on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website, but they're very handy, you know, because you can just literally, you know, trim things off very neatly with them. So obviously, because he's a, you know, he's a man, I think just going with non-flowery sort of pieces, so maybe, you know, just like the book plate and things, it's toning him down a bit, isn't it? So yeah, it just kind of suits him like that, doesn't it? So how easy is that? Just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Right, let's do one more before I have to obviously, you know, go. So let's do, I'm thinking the sheet music one. Let me just check what I've done. Yeah, so if we do a sheet music one, just so we've done then a few different, you know, different types. So yeah, let's have a look at this one. It's not very straight on the side, but doesn't really matter. I'm actually thinking, wonder whether we should have a shoe or something on this. I don't know how this will look, but let's just see. Now, do we want to keep it all purple? Probably better. Oh, do you know, I bought my vintage umbrellas and I haven't used them for ages, but they would have looked quite cute, to be honest. Perhaps I will use those on a couple, you know, that I decorate in slow time. Okay. I mean, I don't know how this will look because, you know, it might be a bit weird. The boot with the framed hot air balloon, I don't know, but... I mean, I've just picked it up really because it seemed like it was a good colour match. But, yeah, I mean, theme-wise, it's obviously a bit strange and a bit random, but it might look cool, in which case we'll go for it anyway. Who's to say we can't have random? Oh, it's a little bit big. It's a bit big on there, to be honest. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? That is a bit of a shame. So yeah, probably won't have that. I've got just a ready cut butterfly, so perhaps we could use that. These are the flowers from my Junk Journal Basics kit 2. I just see, again, you know, bit of an odd choice because it's completely different colour, but I just thought, let's just see, because it might look actually, you know, pretty cool on there. Like, very cute. Let's just try it. Okay. Oh, that's a bit strange, isn't it? Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I don't know really why I felt the need to try it, but sometimes you just get like an urge and you've got to just then, you know, you've got to try it, because otherwise it's going to keep on entering your head to do. Oh, I've got that. That's from the Butterfly Cabinet collection of papers, so that's really quite pretty. I know it is kind of over the, well, no, kind of. It is over the hot air balloon, but I don't mind it over the hot air balloon. I think it looks quite sweet. Could have a bit of lace going at the top. I mean, I feel I am getting quite a lot of different colours going on here now, which might not be quite the thing. Oh dear, I think it's coming to, you know, cup of tea time, so if I get that small bow. We've used no labels, would you believe? No labels at all. Don't know whether that's a good thing or not. It's neither really, but yeah, just an observation really, just because I'm quite surprised that I hadn't used any labels. Okay, let's take that off. Oh my goodness, how cute does that look? Love, love, love how that looks. Now, do we want to have like a contrast with the blue? Just got that. Quite liking the lace down the side, weirdly. I know that's a bit boring because we've done that on all of them, but yeah, looks quite pretty, doesn't it, down the side? So let's just pop the lace down there. Okay. Like that. I love that bow on there. That's just gorgeous, isn't it? So, oops. Now, this is where I wish that I'd thought ahead really and bought more of my coloured book plates along, because I have got them in a sort of lilac colour. And I think they would have worked brilliantly on here. But, of course, I haven't got them with me, which is a shame to say the least, isn't it? Oh, that's such a shame. Right, okay. Do you have these? Right, I'm torn between, do we go for all purple, in which case, you know, I've got some purpley flowers here. Not flowers, butterflies. Oops, let me get rid of that lace. Or should we go for, you know, the contrast? I mean, I quite liked it with the blue, but it might be one of those scenarios where I quite liked it with the blue until I try some purple and then think, what was I thinking with the blue? Okay. So yeah, I mean, I hope this has given you some ideas for just some very quick and easy journal cards, you know, some quick and easy kind of like pocket stuffing ideas really, because you know, I do find it is always a little bit disappointing, you know, unless you fill your journals as you go, which of course, you know, some people perhaps do that. I mean, I personally, occasionally I do that, but on the whole, I would say I forget to fill the pockets as I go. You know, and then it comes to the end and I feel so pleased that the journal's finished and I think, oh, brilliant, you know, and then I look back through and I just think, oh gosh, now I've got to find 20 things, you know, to actually fill the pockets with, which, you know, that is just disappointing beyond belief, I find. So, you know, if we can have kind of like things ready-made, get ahead for the new year, then, you know, I definitely will feel like that's really good progress, you know, and I'll feel like, yeah, just ahead of the new year. So just pop this label on here. I think this label is from the Junk Journal Basics kit one. So yeah, pop that one down, pop that butterfly down. So, and you'll notice, you know, I've not gone with any bling or lumpy things. I have, you know, stuck to my guns and kept everything pretty flat, you know, to just tuck into pockets, and they look beautiful, don't they? So they're no less fancy just because they haven't got the bling and, you know, sticky outy bits. So let's just see the 4 that we did actually finish and decorated. Aren't they just gorgeous? Yep, absolutely love them. So let me know below which one is your favourite. Do you have a favourite? Which one is it? I will try and finish the others in slow time and come back and show you. I don't know whether I'll have time, if I'm truthful. Possibly I won't. But we've got those 4 ready. And then on top of that, in addition, I've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus, I've got all those bases that we didn't actually put bits on yet. So I've got 11, 4 decorated, 11 ready, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 ready to go. So I mean, that's really productive, isn't it? You know, obviously if I wasn't doing another video, I'd probably just continue with them now, but yeah, I hope you like them and I hope it's given you some ideas. Obviously they've got the journaling space on the back because we obviously did cover the backs. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you will join me for episode 2 tomorrow. So thank you so much and have fun with your quick and easy journal cards. Thanks then. Bye.